What If It's Cool is proudly brought to you by Respo Clothing. Feel like a champion by wearing the merch from all the stars, including Luke Resner, B Squared, Savannah Rowe, John Stop Action, Nova Nichols, The Cooters, and my personal favourite, Conflict Axiom. So feel like a champion by checking out Respo Clothing. They can be found on Facebook and on Instagram. The finals of the Alpha Pro Wrestling Heavyweight Tournament conclude at Alpha Pro Wrestling's All or Nothing, happening on Saturday, April 13th at the Pipework Market. Ticket link is in the description. Make sure to check it out. Before you see All or Nothing, make sure to check out Alpha Pro Wrestling's Energy 3, also happening at the Pipework Market. Entry fee is only $2. Make sure to check it out. MXW presents Game Over, happening on Saturday, April 27th at the Sunbury Memorial Hall. Ticket link is in the description. Make sure to check it out. Welcome to another episode of What If It's Cool, the show where we talk about anything and everything that is cool in the world today. I am the Wolverine of this episode, simply because I'm always angry, Daniel-Paul, and with me, and not because he's big, tall, and hairy, and very, very mean, but he's actually the most friendliest person I've ever met, the beast of this show, Tass. Tass, how are you, man?
Hey, how's it going?
Good.
I usually got referred to as Wolverine in some of the wrestling matches I've done because I had the
You had the mutton chops.
At one point I had just the mutton chops as well, and the spiky hair. But anyway, I actually got Wolverine chance as well on some of them as well.
Was that because I've seen some photos of that too? Was that from NAW days or was that from
That was, I think, 2012, 2013.
Yeah. Oh my god. Because I thought about calling you that one thing. I was like, nah, I want to go the other route because like Wolverine was my favorite character growing up, but I've got to be Wolverine.
Yeah.
If you guys are listening and not watching, that is a very familiar voice on the show. That is in fact Manos, and I'm just look, it's going to be out of character, so like I just thought, why not just call him by his actual real name because he's actually an interesting dude. He loves comics. I think he loves comics more than me, to be honest with you. Because if you see his Instagram posts every week, he posts 10, 15 books.
Around that, yeah.
Yeah,
you can see a couple in the background.
And I apologies because obviously Richie was meant to be on this episode. He is actually quite sick. I myself have just coming off a round of Corona, first time in 2 years, and I am feeling a lot better. But the good news is it was nowhere near as bad as the one I had 2 years ago. Like this was piss easy. I didn't even realize I had Corona until like late into the game. Now, we're here to talk about a very interesting and very special topic that's cleared for Tass and myself's hearts, something for our childhood. Now, me and Tass are very, very similar in age. I think we're only a couple months difference in age, aren't we?
I'm 35. I turned 36 in December.
Yeah, no, so we're about a year and a bit off, so not too bad. X-Men was one of the growing up, it was Batman, the animated series, Spider-Man, the animated series, X-Men. Trying to think what else was there? Well, for me, I don't know if that was you, but this is big for me. The Fantastic Four, both the Saturday morning cartoon and also the 60s and 70s version that was on Cartoon Network. Those are always stand out. I mean, you can always throw in the Incredible Hulk, but not many people remember that because that was on Agro's Cartoon Connection. The Silver Surfer, that was on Sundays. I watched it, but even then, I have no real memories of that until I watched it again on Disneyplus. Was there anything else that's from the... Oh, how can I forget? This was my favorite too, and I still can't believe no one really talks about it. The Iron Man series from 1994.
Especially the theme song from the second season.
I am
Yes.
Iron Man. My God, this was it's so special. Like before we even get into this this episode, diving right into it, how did you discover the original one? Were you like me watching it on Cheese TV?
Yes. It was either Cheese TV or they probably aired it on Channel 7 back in the day.
Yeah.
My memory as a kid comes and goes at the moment, but yeah, But I do remember watching the X-Men cartoon, like I reckon when I was with my um when my family went to visit my aunts and uncles, used to watch it there a lot.
Mm. I think for me, I remember specifically where when I watched it. So it was a Thursday morning because I
Mm-hmm.
remember my dad was shaving and I was envious because I was like, oh, my dad can grow facial hair, and it's now how many years now? Nearly 30 years later, I still can't grow facial hair to the point like this is after 2 weeks, believe it or not. I I fucking envy you because every time you shave, you like say, oh, this is after 2 days, but fuck you.
Yeah.
Um, but he was having a shave. It was 7:30 in the morning, Cheese TV, and I remember specifically saying, "Why does Batman look weird? Like he's got yellow and blue." I'm like, and it was the Morlocks episode where Storm becomes the leader of the Morlocks, and
Okay, yeah.
my God, like it was like so dark for an early morning cartoon, but far out was it good?
Mm. The ones I remember the most were the pilot,
Yep,
the first episode with I think it was my memory's like Night of the Sentinels, I
yep,
think it's called.
yep. Nine Sentinels. Yep.
Yep. I remember that. I remember the Dark Phoenix saga and Proteus as well.
Oh my God. I my this is how bad like you can never get away with this sort of shit now. But I always remember the Phoenix and Dark Phoenix saga simply because the Hellfires Club because of it
Yeah.
was Emma Frost, right? That was the main woman in the Hellfires Club, right? Or am I thinking somebody else?
Sebastian Shaw.
No, 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 the girl that was in it. This was a
Oh
girl.
yeah, it was Emma Frost. Yeah.
Yeah. And also how revealing those clothes were in those episodes. Because I just remember thinking, who, and this is 8-year-old me saying this too, who in their rightful mind, and considering like it was set in like really cold time in episodes,
Yeah.
like who the hell would want to wear that outdoors or even indoors without having a f***ing coat? You know? Like,
No, well, she usually does wear and this is me going from the comics aspect of it. Like,
yeah.
yeah, she usually wears like coats and stuff like that.
No,
But
but in the episode she
you know,
doesn't wear a coat. So it's
yeah,
like
yeah,
why were you doing that? The other episode that will always ring true, and this call back to me calling you Beast at the start of the episode, is when they went into the pyramid and the ship. The Beast was talking that I'll never forget because this is one of the very first episodes of cartoons that ever made me cry. Is when he starts crying when the ship dies. He's like ship, and oh,
mm.
that just hit the heartstrings, man. Like, I'm not sure the guy who does the voice of Beast, but bloody great actor for doing that. This it just got me, and especially like for being an 8-year-old as well to cry like that. Bravo.
Another one that was like really messed up was the Weapon X lies and videotape,
Oh Jesus Christ,
where it's
yeah.
like, and you see what Sabretooth's going through mentally, and it's like,
Oh,
and the whole line like, I'll be good," and like, I was, oh,
oh man. I had freaking nightmares of that. Not that we're not going to go into details with me, but like it brought up a lot of things I've heard, with people going through that sort of stuff,
mm,
and I bawled like a baby. But I did, but funny enough, I watched that later. I missed that
yeah,
episode, because a lot of these, so a lot like I don't know if a lot of people remember, a lot of these episodes were shown in different like in a different structure. So I think
yeah,
because we didn't get the final series until like it went on Fox Kids here in Australia. Like we didn't get it on Cheese TV,
mhm,
but I didn't even get to watch that until the DVD came out in the early 2000s. Like Night of the Sentinels, I didn't get that. I didn't actually watch that until I got the show bag at the Melbourne show.
okay.
Yes, that's how old I am, guys. Because I used to give VHSs in show bags for $25 back then.
I
And
think
you
I
got
remember
everything.
having that.
Yeah. Because it only had one episode, but it lied because on the back it
Yeah,
says like it's like the first couple of episodes. It's just one episode, and I was
yeah.
cut. Like I would sit there and I'd oh God, this is how traumatic it is. I got PTSD about it. I would sit there with members of my family. Goes, okay, the next episode's coming on, and
Yeah.
then tape says, okay, hang on, let's rewind it. Let's start again. I know it's going to start. It's going to go play the next episode in a minute. That stopped. I was I'm a kid, okay? I'm not an adult. If I'm an adult, you can laugh at me, but I'm just a kid. But oh man, I think I'm pretty sure I watched that to the point where it actually broke because like that was no, because like that's how many times I watched
Yeah,
it thinking that it was going to play the next episode, and I really loved it. Like it was
yeah,
like it's a dark episode, but it's also just one of those things where it's what a way to start your series, just going
yeah. True.
full going. Like it had the humor, and because we're boys, it had the sex appeal as well. It had the humor, and you just had a great cast of characters. I mean,
Mm.
you know. Like I mean, I'd never heard of Gambit until before this. I kind of knew about Wolverine, but Gambit, like when the moment he came on screen, it's like, oh my God, this guy. Yeah. And I'll openly admit this. I did not like Gambit when I first saw him. Not
Oh,
the not
okay.
no not the character design. I just thought I was like, I don't know. But it was just because his wit and everything. I was just like, oh, this guy's kind of cool. I don't like the way he looks, but I think he's kind of cool. So I'm gonna go with
Yeah.
it. And then I started reading the comics, and I was like, oh my God, this guy is so freaking cool. Love him. Yeah. All right. Now we talked about this off camera months ago that we were both excited for this one. Before we get into actually talking about the what was the what are some of the things that you were excited to see before you actually watched the first two episodes?
I was excited to see the original cast come back,
Mm.
the ones that are still going. Because obviously, a few of the cast members are no longer here. But I thought what this is probably jumping forward a bit. I thought the guys that they got to replace did a really good job. But
I
yeah,
think
so there
yeah,
was that. Obviously, the theme.
yes, we'll give my thoughts about that in a few minutes. But
um, and the whole thing like previously on X-Men, and they didn't, spoiler, they didn't do that in the first episode. Obviously they did in the next episode, but yeah.
Mm.
um
So if they did not do that, like and do it right,
mm,
I reckon that would have killed the entire feel of the series.
eh, eh,
No, but how
yeah,
how you know growing up that the moment you heard previously "Zhung" on X-Men, like
yeah.
you automatically go, okay, I'm gonna stop what I'm doing, I'm rushing to the TV. You know? Like I get it now we're in the age of streaming where it's kind of like you just put it on everything. But to me, the moment I hear that, I stop everything, I'm gonna go watch it.
Mm.
Yeah. And I think that's why, like you, that's probably the one thing I was very excited for. The one thing I was very interested to see, it didn't make me excited, but I just wanted to see, is because obviously in the first trailer they had changed a little bit of the style of it. I was like, okay, it's going to be
A
like
bit more
this.
modern.
Yeah, I was like, okay, am I actually going to like this? Because a lot of the new cartoons that they've been doing lately, doesn't have to be Marvel, it could just be anything. I hate to say this, I think it's lazy, very cheaply drawn stuff these days. I mean, I think the last one I could probably say that I really like when it comes to animation, Gun to the Head, what am I gonna say? The regular show, I think, would probably be the only thing I can think of off the top of my head because like you got like the Amazing World of Gumball, which is, pacing everything, and that's fine to a degree, and you know what that's going, but then you've got um the new the Rise of the the Rise of the TMNT TV series from a few years back. Animation was pretty ordinary, Storyline was absolutely great, but automation not so much, and that's what I was having a bit of a skepticism with this new series though. But yeah, we'll dive into it right now. Now I'm going to be flat honest here, and I'm going to get a lot of hate from a lot of people when I say this. That's Just remember when I say this, we're still mates and I love
Mm.
you, but I don't think that the X-Men theme is that great.
The new one.
No, no, just in general.
Okay.
Yep. Um, just when you've got like what we mentioned at the start, Batman,
Yeah.
Iron Man 2, the second season's theme, and my all-time favorite when it comes to that era, the Spider-Man animated series theme.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but X-Men doesn't even come close to my top three. Sorry, but I've just never liked it. But what's annoyed me the most about this series is they've actually changed the song again.
Not slightly.
Yeah,
So
slightly.
the one thing that I did appreciate is that they kept the tone similar
Mm,
to the vibe of the 90 series, but more modern for a new audience.
mm. But I miss the sound effects that they did when the like if the like cycle was coming up or when the X hit the water and stuff. That wasn't in the song. I'm like, what are you doing? This is you're killing my childhood, Disney. Like, don't do that, please. Like the moment the X hit the water, I was like, no, 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 and automatically I'm saying to myself, oh, this is gonna be terrible now. I can't handle this. And then and what saved me for this was like I because it's been a while since I watched the trailer for it.
Mhm.
Morph was going to be a prominent character in the series because it pops up.
Going forward, yeah, and
Yeah,
Bishop.
yeah. And, again, I couldn't give a less about Bishop. I've never rated him as a character.
Okay,
No, on the series. I love him in the comic books. I never rated him on the series. I always thought he was a little whiny little bitch on the series though. So kind of like Cable too. Like Cable, I thought was very whiny as well. I thought on the series they were very I don't know, like they just weren't. It just wasn't those characters from the comic books. I don't know if you ever felt the same way, but I don't like them on the TV series. You know.
that's all good.
Yeah. One thing as well with Morph that they've changed his face a little bit, but they do a couple of callbacks and actually puts his original face on. Do you reckon that he looks like the little kid from the Morlocks as well with his new face? Because that's what
Leech.
yeah, he kind of looks like
Well, we
him.
saw Leech in the show in episode
Yeah.
2,
Yeah, but
but
like when he turns in when he has that more mutant face, he looks like Leech.
I was thinking more Caliban.
Oh, good point. Hmm. But still, like I was like, why did they change it? Can't they just put more space back into that or whatever? But that's just me being picky, you know. Have you guys
Because I
watched the
think
episode? Something like that?
because Morph, I think, looks a little bit more like his comic counterpart now.
Mm.
But
But yeah, but well, because they brought Morph into the Fury because he was just really created for the show, and then they had because he was based
as a
on another
character to
character.
kill off in the first episode, which is what they
Oh,
did, and then they brought him back.
yeah. No,
So, yeah.
I will say this though. Morph was like he was one of those characters like you like the start and you're like, oh my
Hmm.
God, then he dies. And then we came back, I don't know how they did it, but they made him more cooler. You
Hmm.
know, he had
Yeah.
he had the cool backstory. He had the the inner demons cracking on, and then he had the great redemption arc, and then he comes back and he's a massive hero. Like what a character! Like, and
Hmm.
I was like when I realized he was going to be in the series, like, all right, I'm now I can forget that they've changed the song slightly. They're not putting the sound effects in. I'm gonna enjoy this now.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So normally and this is when Richie's meant to be here to do this. We normally read the synopsis of the first episode from Wikipedia, so I'll do that. So the first episode is 1 year after Professor Charles Xavier left Earth with the Shi'ar. The X-Men continue their mission to defend mutants and humans alike and go on to become legal sanctioned by the United Nations. Additionally, Jean Grey has become pregnant, while support for mutants has grown, and yada 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 yada. Um, to my knowledge, was did they allude in the previous series that she was pregnant?
No.
Yeah, because that threw me off a little bit. I was like, she's pregnant. Like, I mean, that's cool and all, but like, I don't remember her being pregnant because like I had to watch the last episode just to recap, and I forgot that Xavier was on his way out. So
Hmm.
yeah, what did you feel about this episode? Just from the get go.
I really liked it. Now I think the second episode was a bit better, but the reason for that was because I think this episode was a nice throwback to the pilot
Mm,
in terms of this being like sort of a what's the word I'm looking for? Sort of a juxtaposition to Night of the Sentinels,
mm,
because in the role of Jubilee, even though we see her in it, and I'll get to that in a moment.
Mm,
We have Sunspot now, Roberto da Costa,
mm.
and he's the one that's been taken under the wing of the X-Men after being rescued. And it's interesting because you see Jubilee now taking on a mentor role for this new mutant that is taken in.
Yeah.
When she was in that position at the very start of the series.
I that flew right over my head, and as you're telling me this, like, holy,
Yeah, it's pretty
like
much a callback to
is
the first episode.
that's like I wanted to send this to both you and Richie because I hated the first episode because like the only thing I liked about this episode was the animation of Cyclops in that fight scene. I just thought that
Yes.
was there's so many callbacks to like the Street Fighter versus X-Men games, the 1990s run of, and not of the Uncanny X-Men, the Adventures of the X-Men comic book series, which is, if you guys have never read that, if you find issues, definitely read it because it's so good.
Mm.
Um, but also I can't remember what issue it was. It was definitely Uncanny X-Men, but there was one particular scene where Cyclops's beam is just shine up like that, and it just illuminates him in the panel, and I thought that was so cool, and just everything in that scene was just chef's kiss.
Mm.
Um, but after watching it a second time, I started to appreciate it. But now that you're telling me this about the mentorship and everything, I actually changed my mind. I like this episode now because that is a massive callback. Because that's what I loved about the first three episodes is introducing this cute character and getting a mentorship.
Yeah.
Mm. Um,
And of course they bring back
yeah.
the whole no, like I surrender not. And he does the
The one, and I have to. This is why I don't use Facebook as well when I tell this story. One thing, I couldn't stop laughing because someone on a RoboCop fan page said this that you're gonna love this episode because there's gonna be familiar voices slash noises, right? The Sentinels,
yes.
every time they move, whenever RoboCop's gun would come out and just move it, choo choo, that's all
That's the
RoboCop
same voice.
noises. That's the same noise.
Awesome.
My
Awesome.
God. And because have you ever played the Deadpool video game?
No, I've seen pieces of it.
Oh, Tass, one night you're gonna have to come over. We're gonna have to play it. Like it's like I
Like I
guarantee.
know of it,
Yeah, I
but
know, but
yeah,
I reckon you're
I've
gonna like.
seen pieces of it.
No, you're gonna love this, man. There was a line in the Genosha level, and literally, it was like the Sentinel hand going up and down, up and down. Huh. RoboCop used to do that, and it would actually the same
Oh,
sort
he does
of
it.
sounds. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Oh God. But yeah, no, that was a really great callback. The only thing that I did notice about this I really didn't like was a lot of the animation was just very stiff as well. I don't know if you found that as well, but it's just like when you watch the 90s cartoon, like Religious as We did growing up, you could tell it's very smooth. This one felt very stiff. And I was like, it's like, do you remember the Batman and Robin with Adam West and stuff that they made a few years ago, those animated films? It
Yeah.
felt like that.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know if anyone's going to understand that reference because, like, I don't know. It's just maybe it's just
Yeah, so
the
they did
fan of me, but yeah.
two different reunion movies before Adam West passed away. So
And it
there
was
was
the
the
third
one
one
where
where the
it's
be.
just the full blown uh, uh, callback to the series, and then there was one event in the story where they brought in William Shatner as Two Face.
Oh God, how
And
how
uh,
good was that?
both of them were great.
Oh no, but just Shatner
But
being
yeah,
Two-Face, I'm like,
yeah, I know.
oh my God. Out of all the people from that era, who could have got? I was like, Shatner, really? My God.
And
Like,
it worked.
yeah, we got to talk about that eventually because I know Richard would love to talk about that because that's a great film. But that animation there, like it
Yeah.
felt it like like it did feel a little bit stiff just going back, but you got it because it's actually meant to be from that kind of style.
Mm.
I don't know if this that animation works for 97 because I thought they were gonna go back and do the animation. I think that's my disappointment from
I think
these two episodes.
I think you do have to keep it sort of modern the with the audience that you're going with today.
Mm.
So, but as well as honoring what came before.
Yeah,
The best I think it's the approach that they were going with.
yeah. I mean, I think they could have gone with the original style. I think that everyone could appreciate it, but
Hmm.
I get that. Like if I was to bring Bubs in to watch it, like I haven't watched it with him yet. I'm probably gonna watch it on the weekend with him. Um, I reckon, he can watch the original and go on, oh, I like this animation because literally we watched the original first season of Iron Man, and he loved it. He's like, oh, I didn't realize that Spider-Woman was a character in Iron Man. Like, oh no, it's actually just in this series. But and then and he's like, who's that? I'm like, that's the Mandarin. He goes, why is he like this? He's not like the movie. He's like, aha. So like, cause I'm educating him into
Yeah.
getting into all this stuff because he loves Spider-Man. He kind of likes the X-Men, loves Batman, but he doesn't know all this stuff yet. So hey, he's only 10, so I've still got to educate him still. Yeah. But no, for overall episode though, like the callbacks as well, like with more fucking around with Logan, like he did this. Oh, when he changed to Jane, I'm like. Are you trying to kiss your best mate? Because like I've always felt that Morph always just wanted to just get with Logan for a little bit, because like he always had he always just had this little sick twisted humor. But I was like,
Hmm.
is there a little undertone to that? But God, he's funny. Even just
Even when he changes to Charles Xavier,
oh
as soon as he came on, I was like, yeah, that's Morph.
like Oh, but he's got great humor. But the one thing I loved about this is that although his voice is slightly altered, because obviously the guy is older now, the guy who plays Wolverine is slightly a little bit
Cal
more.
Dodd, yeah.
Yeah. The dynamic between him and Cyclops is still the same.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh, man, like they had great chemistry, and like in this, like oh, he's ready to go. He's ready to go. Dude, this is a great thing to go. I do love the fact that they brought the Sentinels back for the first episode as well. Like,
Going back to what I said before,
yeah.
like, it makes more sense.
Did you get any goosebumps from that when you first saw the come up? Because I was like,
Hmm.
oh my God, like I'm enjoying that. But then Morph comes out like, no, please, for the love of God, do
Don't
not
kill him
let's
off.
not do not do that, please. Um, but no, that was really good. But what is Bishop doing in this series? I thought he went back in time.
I think he's going back and forth because he disappears for a bit and then comes back
Yeah, but
in the
I
next.
didn't think he
I
was
think
come. I didn't think he
the
came
next
back
episode.
in. I didn't think he came back at the end of the series. Though. I thought he went and then came. So he went. His sister had a problem. Went back to the past and came back, and that was it. I don't remember him ever coming back. And I'm like, what? I'm still
I'm pretty sure
scratching
they'll
my noggin.
explain it more in the future episodes.
I hope so because
So,
I'm just like, are you just putting him in because he's like, from the movies?
hmm.
You know?
Well, I think there's going to be. I think they said there's going to be 3 seasons of these, so I think we'll get plenty of time to go
Yeah.
then. So
Well, let's hope. I mean, we're going to cover this anyway. So, but I hope there's more 3 seasons if it's going to be like this. But final thoughts on the first episode. I will say this though. Um, I do not like the animation of Eric slash Magneto. I think they've done a dramatic change of him. I don't know. I just don't feel it. I love the guy who plays him. I just don't feel the character looking at him. I don't know. How do you feel about
I was perfectly fine with it. Even he's a focal point in the second episode because it's pretty much the trial of Magneto.
it?
But yeah, it didn't really bother me.
Was there anything like because it seems like you love everything about this episode, but anything actually you didn't like about it?
About no, I didn't really see any real negatives with this so far. So
Hmm.
I'm loving it. So
All right.
uh, the one thing that really surprised me was I dropped a Gold Balls reference. Because I'm reading the Krakoan Age of X-Men currently.
Oh, really?
I'm at the just starting Fall of X at the moment,
Hmm.
and anyone who's read that knows that Goldballs was real, or Egg was really the one of the main people resurrecting the mutants in
Mm.
color. So when I heard that, I was like, oh, okay. But yeah, that and there's a lot more Easter eggs in the show so far if you really like keep an eye out for it.
Mm. All right, so we're gonna say, uh, episode one of X-97. Are we gonna say it's cool?
Yes,
Yep. I'm gonna.
absolutely.
I was originally not gonna say it's not cool. I'm actually gonna say it is cool, because of you telling me everything went over my head. I have changed my mind. I think it is cool. I'm gonna have to watch it again after this so I can really delve into it. But yeah, um, definitely cool. Second episode. I will get the Wikipedia up for this one. All right. Well, I'll try. Oh, well, trying to live up to Xavier's legacy. Magneto has taken to save humans and mutants alike and refraining from killing anti-mutant militants. Yeah, okay. Yeah. I'm just gonna be fair honest. I don't like reading.
No, you're right.
Yeah. But no, we get the gist of it. Which also into this as well. It goes into the trial of Magneto, as Tass was saying. This
Like right down
is.
to the imagery, you see that iconic comic book cover of him in shackles,
Oh my
in the
God.
same suit and everything. And yeah, they really did a good job with this one. And
This
the
is
reason I
this is
like
one of the ones
this,
that, yeah.
sorry,
No, this is one of the ones where if this was the start of the series, this episode, like they set that up in the previous season, not only would I be like wholeheartedly invested, I could forget all the theme crap with this.
mm.
Because like that scene, the moment he's in shackles, like I'm digging it.
But yeah, like I said, I like this episode a lot more because now we're getting into advancing the story forward.
Mm.
We're done with the throwbacks and reintroducing everyone to the franchise. Now we're taking the story for in a new direction,
Well, this is
and I
the
think they did a really good job with it.
I consider this the meat and potatoes episode because literally like everything you need and it's going to fill you up is going to be in here. Everything else is just everything else in the previous episode is just the appetizers. This is where we're nitty gritty. I love the fact that they went into full detail with he did this, he did that, but then they say but he's starting to change his way and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then they brought in I don't know if you ever watched the Marvel RoboCop cartoon series, but there was a faction of people who are anti robotics and everything. They were called the Brotherhood. But these guys look very similar in the bad guys in this episode.
To the Friends of Humanity.
Yeah, like even down to the weapons and everything and the hoods that they wear. I was like, I don't know if that was meant to be direct reference, but that's how I saw it. Um, this felt like an 80s episode of a cartoon, and I loved every minute of it. I
Mm.
loved how detailed they went into with calling him a terrorist, going through the laws, the you know the fine line for every constitutional rights and all that stuff. It's what you never see in cartoons, especially
Yeah.
in 90s cartoons. But this is really thing, and it's like you can actually learn a lot of this stuff. Sorry, you can learn a lot from this episode because like you realize, okay, the world's actually not, sorry to say this, the world is not colors, it's actually black and white half the time.
Mm.
Pardon me.
No, you're right.
Oh, I just, you know what, I'm picturing Q in the back of my head, gets going, fade to gray. Um, hashtag if you know, you know. And I, um, I love the fact that Magneto is like, starting to change, but then all this stuff is happening. And he's like, it's just reaffirming, okay, the way I'm actually doing is right because we can't trust humans. They don't like us, and they're persecuting us, and I think it's time for us to fight back.
Yes.
Yeah, like how many other shows are willing to show that kind of side of humanity, especially in a kids' cartoon?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Very little, but
Mm. No, because I remember the breakout scene from is it the Enter Magneto episode? I think it was like episode 4 from the original series.
Would have been, yeah.
Yeah. Where they were talking about Beast, and he was reading Animal Farm. And if you guys have never read that novel, stop what you're doing, stop listening to this, go get the book
And
yourself
if you
and
look
read
at
it.
the books in the first episode of this series, you see it in there.
Yes.
When Roberta wakes up in the
I think it's the second or
hospital,
third book that's in there.
hospital ward, and he sees Beast for the first time, and you
Yeah.
see all the books in on the shelf. One of them's Animal Farm, so that was a nice little callback.
Because I remember seeing that, and I remember thinking, what the hell's Animal Farm, you know? Because it was like a big book, and I would later
I
discover
watched that
discover
in school.
you're joking. Wait, the movie, like
The movie,
the
yeah,
movie Animal Farm,
yeah,
hang on, the live action one or the
the
cartoon?
animated one.
Oh,
Yeah,
I feel so sorry for you. That ending, like
yeah.
if you guys have never watched the cartoon one, it is available on YouTube. Think of if you guys have watched Pinocchio, the original Disney version, where the boys turn into donkeys. There's something very similar. Not obviously not people turning into donkeys or anything like that, but the same sort of noise, and that gave me nightmares for
Okay.
years. Because
Yeah,
I
it's
watched it in
something.
high school, not in
It's
primary school. I watched it in high school.
yeah.
It's not for the faint of heart because
Mm.
that's yeah. But like I started learning, and then all of a sudden, they were being freed, and it was talking about, aren't you feeling fresh? And then it was the one line that I always remember from this episode. I'm waiting for my day in court, you know, because he wanted to prove himself. He didn't want to take the easy way out, and I was like, what? And I remember asking my dad, like, why would he do that? Because he wants to be an honorable person. He doesn't want to take the easy way out. He wants to actually have his day in court. And when my dad explained it to him, I was like, wow. How many shows can do actually, get a kid to actually talk to their parents about stuff like that? Tell you, only one. That's X-Men. Yeah, and I'm hoping that once I watch this with Bubs, I reckon he's gonna turn around and go, "Hey, Dad, what do they mean by oppression? What do they mean by this one?" And I was like, "Oh, well, son, this is what it's like." And I can't wait to have those moments with my kids.
Mm.
I know you don't have kids, but that you know of.
What? Where did that come from? Uh,
Oh, we've seen that scene in your movie Hotel Underground. You never know.
oh, but yeah, yeah. Going back to the episode, it was really cool. Like they're starting to lead into different comic book storylines from the series. Like
Hmm.
you see the relationship that it's alluded to between him and Rogue. Which did they ever? I'm trying to remember. Did they ever go
They
into
never
that
taught. They never
storyline
that was the thing I was gonna say because like
in
I don't
the previous
remember
one?
them saying anything in the actual original series, but I was like, they had a fling, didn't they?
Yeah,
In
they
the comic
did.
books, yeah. Um, and I was like thinking when I came out, I was like thinking. So are they going to bring back Mystique, and then they're going to like have a three? And I was about to say something really dirty. Are they going to have like a three-way? Doesn't sound any better when I say it like that. Is it
An
going to be a
arc
love?
between the three of them.
Yeah, like a love triangle. Because I know they didn't specify that in the original series as well, but obviously in the movies, there was a it wasn't they didn't say like they did do stuff, but it alluded to that Mystique and Magneto did do stuff together.
Mm,
But I would think this would be very interesting. And then you bring in Nightcrawler, and they finally reveal that Rogue and Nightcrawler are like half siblings of some sort.
mm.
Like that's where I see that arc going. But I was like, how are they going to bring this up? Because like, isn't Eric like super old, and she's like in her 20s? Like how did that work? And how come all of a sudden they're bringing it up now when, for the for like well, if we're going to go in the timeline for years that they haven't really like kind of like alluded to it. You know what I mean?
And another big storyline coming out of this episode is Storm losing her powers,
Oh my
that's
God.
which I've seen. I'm not spoiling anything, but I've seen the plot synopsis of the other episodes coming up, not the plot, but where it's going, like the
Mm,
titles and everything.
mm.
And yeah, I've read it's going to be really interesting where they go with it, and I want to see how they adapt it.
Did you tear up a little bit when she I can't feel
Yeah,
the bit.
fuck.
Oh.
And
Uh,
that's the triggering point where Magneto has to make a choice. Like, do I kill Executioner or do I show that I have changed?
mm,
And he takes the latter, essentially.
yeah. This
And
this
essentially he pretty much gains favor for Genosha as now a commissioned state, I think is
Yeah,
what I'm
that's
looking
what they're
for. Yeah.
doing. Yeah, that's what they're doing. But the thing with this episode as well, like there were so many nuggets of this, like just calling back for I forgot what the story arc was in the comic book series, but like little bits of Days of Future Past as well, the original story,
Mm-hmm.
um, with the bills and everything they're proposing. I don't normally like political stuff, but this really like hit home for me. And I really like the stuff like it's because it's not just politics that are playing involved. It's human rights, and then it's the main person's rights, and then it's what how's it going to affect society if we did this and stuff. This episode is just so important. I'm glad they made it in the second episode because
Yeah.
like if they just went the route of just making it a whole all action, I think it's just going to be a regular standard, Saturday morning cartoon crap. This is where the big boys play, as I say. It's such an amazing episode. I
Oh,
love the
absolutely.
fact that literally everyone is on their heart, is like, what should we do in the middle of the thing? Oh, we shouldn't be here because we're causing a scene, or all of a sudden like this, and like, oh, do we fight? If this was any other show, they'll be like, all right, let's go fight them and save the day, and then cut the queue. All right, everyone wins, yay, and that's it. No, there is consequences for everything that everyone's doing in this, and the consequences of fighting here was Storm losing her powers. Magneto making a hard choice. What does he do? Does he go back to being a criminal? Does he go do Xavier's work? And then going forward, what does the government do now? They're knowing that they've now seen that humanity is just as bad, if not worse, compared to the mutants out there, and mutants are actually very friendly and actually do want to help. Like this has got so many elements there that it makes it a. I think this is probably the best episode they've ever done. If I'm going to be flat out honest, because there's so many things here. Like animation aside, storyline wise, what an
Brilliant.
episode!
Yeah.
Yeah. Before we wrap it up for this episode though.
Oh, and of
Um,
course, what were we going to say?
Yeah. No. You go first, man.
And of course, second episode, Jean gives birth to
Yes.
Nathan.
Um. Hang on.
So true.
Hang on.
When
Did they say it was Nathan?
yeah, at the end
Okay.
of the episode, they said it.
Yeah.
And, that was a great scene too because when Jean essentially a water breaks and she says, "Oh, he's coming," and Wolverine goes, "Who? Apocalypse?" And then she said the baby's coming, and it's like, "Oh crap!"
I think this is how bad the X-Men movies have been for me. The moment he said Apocalypse, I did laugh as well because I thought
Yeah,
it was hilarious. But I didn't think of the cartoon. I thought of
Oscar
Oscar
Isaac. Yeah,
Isaac.
it was a good
Uh
choice, but yeah, the way that they did it could have been better. But
Mate, don't call X-Men, don't call him Apocalypse, call him something else. That was not Apocalypse. That was blue big tall blue guy from the Blue Man Group. Um yeah,
what was
like
it? People call him Ivan Ooze at the start with the
Oscaroos, we'll call him Oscaroos. Oscaroos. Uh but that's funny is like now we're going on a different tangent, but I want to talk about this on camera because I've been waiting to talk about this for so long,
okay
right? He looks exactly like Ivan Ooze from Power
from the
Rangers.
set photos. Yeah, you can tell.
Oh, like I remember when someone posted it. I think it was on Instagram. And I was like, are they doing a revamp of Power Rangers again? Because I didn't see the caption. I was like, oh yeah, and then all of a sudden they go, that's Apocalypse. Went, you're shitting me. What? Um, is it the
I mean, I liked
same?
his performance in the movie, like what he was doing, but
Mm,
the look and everything, like you see, like there was some photos that got released, I think, after the movie came out
yeah.
of what they were going to do with the look of the character, and it was more on point to what it was in the comics. So why didn't you just go with that? Anyways,
I just miss having the giant A on his stomach. I think I did that, I think I'd be more happy with the character, to be honest.
mm.
Um, but also the fact that he wasn't immortal, like properly immortal, like all right, fine. Oh, and he got tall only because he was in Xavier's nightmares. Ugh, you know. But let's not talk about X-Men Apocalypse because as much as everyone likes to hang shit on Dark Phoenix, I think Apocalypse was actually the worst of the two, to be honest. Um, and yes, for those who are wondering, yes, I went to see both of them in the cinema. I paid my
I did
$12
too.
to go watch it. Yeah, because everyone likes to say, oh, I watched it for free on Disney Plus, or I waited till it came out on DVD. No, I was a real fan. I went out there and actually checked it, and I thought they were okay films. They weren't decent films by any
Mm.
chance, but I thought they were okay. But I still
Yeah.
think Dark Phoenix does not deserve all the hate that it got because Apocalypse was even worse. You
Although
know,
X Men Apocalypse did give us the Weapon X scene, and that was good.
that was it. I think that's the only redeem. Oh, actually, no, 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 no. Two things. Sorry, three things, including Weapon X. The Quicksilver scene.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And I'm still cut that they didn't use her a lot more. Jubilee.
And that was always the thing with the movie. It's like, okay, why say you're gonna have Jubilee and then not do anything with her?
Hmm. Well, she was in it. Like, if you guys have watched the DVD X-Men 1.5, she was actually in the first movie.
Mm.
She's not alluded to there. She was technically in the second movie too. She wasn't alluded there. Um, and then she pops up in the 1980s with the new first class crew, and she's alluded there, but she does nothing. Great character, and they don't
Oh
they,
yeah.
they, they not- they don't do anything with her. It's like having Deadpool in a movie and not letting him talk. Oh, oh, sorry.
And with that, hey, to be fair, out of that, we got the Deadpool movies that we have now.
Yeah. And that's
So,
something, we're going to talk about in the future. I reckon we should go see
mm,
that together, man.
yes,
Now moving on. Now, obviously, this episode leaves with a bombshell with a second Jean Grey coming into the mix.
which the merch that came out pretty much spoiled what's going to happen there. But
Are you serious? I didn't know there was
no,
merch.
I mean, yeah, they did. They
Hang on.
said
Have they have
they
they
said
done
who was
it?
going to
Have
be.
they done an Inspector Gadget where they've revealed Dr. Claw where he's
Of
actually the
course,
design thing?
but that no, they said I'm not going to say, but in the merch they pretty much said who this person is. But yeah, and they do that all the time. So, but anyways, but yeah,
Why
we
why
end up
can't
with
why can't they be like our sponsor here? What it was called, like Westboro Clothing. Speaking of Westboro Clothing, make sure to check out Westboro Clothing on Instagram, on Facebook. They provide all these amazing t-shirts, like the one I'm wearing with the B Squared t-shirt. I know Tass that you're not a fan of these boys, but they are my boys.
yeah,
Yeah, so definitely check them out. Also, I'm not sure if the grey merchandise is going to come out anytime soon, but yeah.
it's in the
Uh,
works.
It's in
So,
the works, and yeah, we'll definitely plug Westboro Clothing because they don't reveal any spoilers like that because you know they're great.
but yeah, like
Cheeky plug.
it's like when Godzilla versus Kong was coming out, and the
Hmm.
Funkos mentioned Mecha Godzilla. It's like, why did you?
Oh
Why
yeah,
did you
I
just?
forgot about that.
Why did you just wait until the movie comes out and then release?
I don't think they've done it this year's for the next Godzilla movie, but if they do that again, I'm gonna get really pissed. The one thing I'm really glad is, well, sorry to go on another tangent. The one thing that
No,
really pissed me off about Godzilla and Kong was it came out on HBO Max at the same time came in the movies. So
oh yeah,
if
yeah,
you
yeah.
if you have those VPNs where you can go to everything and you can sign up that you didn't have to leave home to watch it. Like
Yeah, true.
What a big
Well, this
mistake.
was at the time when lockdowns were in full effect, but yeah.
No, I was able to go. I was able to go watch it in the 4D cinema.
Mm.
I think this is like I think we're on the arse end of the last big lockdowns. I think from
Yeah,
memory when it
yeah.
came out, but thank God they don't do that anymore because I was
Don't
just
do
like
that
that.
anymore. Yeah,
Oh
yeah. This one's gonna come out in full theaters.
yeah, I'm
Yeah,
definitely gonna go
this
watch
is
that
good.
in 4K again because if you've ever watched a Godzilla movie in 4K, no, what am I saying? 4K in 4D
4D.
where they do the moving and the elements in the room. Wow, I've seen all four Godzilla recent four movies of Godzilla in there.
Hmm.
Is it four? No, sorry, three because the fourth one's coming out now. Um, Definitely do yourself a favor, go watch it because it's so good. I can't wait for this one, and it's out next week, I think. Oh, sorry, at the time of this one, this week, this should be coming out. Um, in saying that though, with the spoilers from the merch,
Yeah.
I'm still interested in seeing where this is going to be because
Oh,
like,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
hmm, that I this is where this towards the end of this episode though, this is when I started to like the animation. I don't know what it was. I think they must have done something with the animation because it started to look a little bit more crisp. I don't know if you felt the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, it was really good, but also
I reckon a tiny bit
mm.
more.
But that was so unexpected. I'm like, I'm really looking forward to next Wednesday when it comes out. So when this episode comes out, it will be coming out today. And we will be, covering this obviously the week after. But yeah, what an episode.
Mm.
Mm,
I've loved it.
mm. So I don't think we even need to ask a question, but because it's what it's cool, we need to. Episode 2 of X-Men 97. Is it cool?
Very cool.
Yes. Yeah.
More so than the first episode, and the first episode was good.
Mm,
This elevated a lot more.
mm. Who's your MVP character of this series so far? That's not Morph.
Um, so far from what I've seen, my MVP for the shows so far is Magneto.
Really?
Yeah,
All right. I
and I'm a Wolverine guy. So. But yeah,
I
from where the story going for the show, yeah,
mm,
Magneto is like the the MVP of it thus far.
I've got two. And I don't know why I'm going to say the first one. Because I've always thought he was a bit of a knob because he's not in the comic books but in the TV. So I always thought he was a Boy Scout and everyone would agree with this. I like Cyclops in this one,
Yep.
but because I love the where this is going and it broke my heart when she left Storm. Like
Mm.
I thought she could, withstand this and still be positive and everything. And the fact that she's human and she's done this, I'm like, all right, she's still one of my favorite characters, but my God, she broke my heart. What's gonna happen to her now? And that's why I'm very impressed. That's why I think she's the MVP.
That
So,
I'm really excited for what if it's going where I think it's going,
mm,
then yeah, I'm really looking forward to what's coming up.
mm. I think one of the biggest disappointments of this one, if I'm gonna go for the ones I don't like, Bishop is one.
Okay.
Um, but I want for because it's just I don't know what it is. It just maybe it's just because he's not on there enough, or he may just have the good lines. Gambit is a bit of a letdown in this as well. I don't know. Like he's just not as cool as he was in the original series. But it's 2 episodes in. Hopefully, it'll change.
Hmm.
How about yourself? Who's your least favorite here?
Least favorite.
Hmm. I guess I could say Rogue, but like I still think Rogue is still has a lot more depth with her because like she's obviously
Hmm.
had the thing with Magneto.
Yeah. Yeah. I reckon because I haven't done much with him at the moment yet. It's Bishop. So.
Yeah. I hope I'm wrong because Bishop is such a badass character,
Hmm.
but I'm just like, is he just because like I said before, is it because he's in the movies? Is that why we're having all these people in now because more everyone's going to associate with the movies? Like, are they gonna bring in Apocalypse again and then they're gonna just him up doing something? I don't know. That's what I'm hoping this is not going to go. I hope that they do something with Bishop, but at the moment
We
he's.
did see in the opening credits that Mr. Sinister is alluded to, so I think they're going to be
Mm.
utilizing him a bit in this one.
Speaking of the credits, though, the one of the best callbacks, but also one of the worst callbacks of this one as well. Obviously, I like the fact that they're going back to the old 90s style of just clicking, pointing with the buys and everything. Um, I wish they brought back the old animation for that.
Oh, are you talking about the outro
Yeah.
with the 3D models? And
Oh, I
they
miss
do
that.
have it as an 2D animated style for this
Yeah,
one.
I don't like that. It needs to be 3D. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Get rid of Disney. Get rid of that. Bring back the old 3D or don't do it at all. Sorry, that just not fly with me. That's one thing that does not give my approval on that one, and that's 100% not cool.
Yeah.
Um, Look, I thought that like as a kid, like, especially in 1994, I thought that was the most coolest thing ever because we never saw graphics like that unless it was we were watching, I don't know, like some music video on MTV or what was it? What was it? Reboot. Like that was the only time we ever saw
Yep.
saw stuff like that. Or Beast Wars, Transformers.
Yeah.
They were the only
And
ones
there
that
was
did
that
that.
other one. It was like this weird little alien guys that I'm trying to remember. My,
I was gonna say Widget, but no, that was
not
too
widget.
late.
It was and I think they had
Weird little
Robert
alien.
Stack as the I think
Yeah,
that's Robert Stack as the
I know what you're talking
you
about
know
now.
what I'm talking about?
Yes, I just can't think of the
Yeah, yeah.
bloody show.
But my mind's gone blank, but but you know what I'm talking about.
Oh my
I
God.
do remember that watching that one a lot as well.
There was another one. Oh my God. It was like a Power Rangers one, but it had like those kind of animations too. Not Beetleborgs. Superhuman Samurai. I
Yep.
think. Yeah, because they did. It wasn't like the old, not the fight things, but the animation did for the robots and everything. That was all like that, and that was really cool. And I
Mm,
like the fact that he did that for the X-Men because I was like thinking, okay, they might do a computer game like this eventually because I know obviously we had 32-bit for Mega Drive. Super Nintendo was far from having graphics like that.
mm.
PlayStation was another year before that before this would be coming around. The only thing that was probably close was probably the Atari Jaguar, but who the had the money to pay for that? It was like $1,000 back then, which is like
Jeez.
it's like 4,000 now in today's money. Um, and yeah, it was a Jaguar, right? That had the 3D animation stuff like that.
Yeah, I
Because it
think
was
it
one of
was.
the
Yeah.
first, yeah. Because I remember I was begging my parents to have one of those, and yeah, nah.
Then they brought out the N64 and kept elevating itself from there.
Yeah, nah, we can go all day with this one. I know Jason Crash wants to talk about that because we had a long chat
Oh,
about that. Yeah, we had a long chat about that on at Alpha because we're talking about like how in the early 90s, so late 90s, how there was some amazing games that came out, and what
mm,
were some of the worst ones that you desperately wanted, and everyone shit on it and had the right to shit on it. I will never forget when I really wanted to play, and I shit you not. Superman the game on N64 and getting that bastard rented from Video Easy, not Blockbuster, Video Easy.
mm.
I have never ever been that disappointed in a game where I actually went back 30 minutes later after renting it to get my fucking money back. Oh God, nostalgia.
Yeah.
Well, that's the end of this episode of What Was Cool. Tass, thank you so much for being part of
No,
this
thank you.
one. We will see you next week to be on this, and hopefully Richelino will be part of this. And again, guys, the NAF does send his apologies, but he pretty much sounds like Mr. Sinister at the moment because he called me before. He's like, "Hey Dan, I'm really sick at the moment." Like, yeah, that's how bad his voice is. But with that being said, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the show and enable those notifications to stay up to date whenever we post anything and whenever episodes are available. And don't forget to follow What If It's Cool on all socials. It can be found at What If It's Cool. Keep that support coming. And until next time, for Tass and myself, we'll catch you on the next one. Peace.
Take care.